beginning to believe.
Bells here on the open bell. You can wait for 10 a.m. or you can take the sell now. Alright, guys. So, just based off of... Give me 1 sec. It's down here. Just based off what I'm seeing, guys. Okay, Dixie's bullish. A lot more bullish than normal. I think we're going to pop up from this indecision zone. There's been some profit taking here, but I think Dixie's going to move to the upside here today. There's no real news to influence everything. Okay, there's really nothing. Tomorrow, my only assumption is that we're going to get some news being priced in tomorrow, which is the ADP, non-farm employment change, which is terrible. The report is really bad. So that's probably going to get priced in, and ISM services PMI being a bit lower than expected. Still above 50, which is good. I do believe this news is still not necessarily the best, considering that we're actually falling than below last month's. Assuming that this is going to get priced in. So SPX I'm bearish in. Russell, I don't know how to feel about Russell. I don't really want to call any trades with Russell. I'm actually more bullish in Russell than I am bearish, which is kind of ironic because I'm bearish on SPX, more bearish on SPY. But Russell, I don't want to say that the same thing here. Here I'm curious. We might break out to the upside. I just heard that the Fed, you know, I saw this morning too. The Fed just is printing money now because we're going through a liquidity crisis, right? So I heard the Fed just stopped quantitative tightening. Okay. Look, apparently 125 billion in 5 days. The Fed quietly floods banks with cash again. What's going on? So we just stopped quantitative tightening and we're starting to quantitative ease again. Overnight repurchase agreements allowing banks to trade US treasuries for cash. See what's going on here, guys? So the Fed's printing money again. They're printing money again. They actually saved. They actually saved us from going into a huge liquidity crisis. Is my assumption here. We were going through a liquidity crisis before. I think the Fed just saved us from going through a huge liquidity crisis here after. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. What the hell? Because we were going through that liquidity crisis, we might actually push to the upside here. If the Fed keeps printing money, remember their policy was they released this in the last FOMC meeting that they're going to stop quantitative tightening, okay? Which means they're going to stop burning cash and they're going to start injecting cash back into the market after December 1st. And today is December 1st. I mean, today's December 2nd, so we could see a break of structure, and if we do, it's probably because the Fed is breaking, is going to break, right? And they're going to start printing a lot more cash, or the institutions know something that we don't with the money printing. But 6.20% here as a fall, I believe this would have been a lot higher if the Fed hadn't come and saved. I believe that if the Fed doesn't keep printing, or if they allow the market to correct itself, we would go down another. We'd have a third wave here, you know, because we have what? We have wave 1, wave 2, and then wave 3. And I still do believe that wave 3 can happen. And I don't believe the Fed, the reason the Fed, I believe we would have had another 6% for a total of maybe a 7 to 8% correction. Now, the reason why the Fed okay, has two crises ahead of its time right now. And this is one thing I want you guys to understand is there's three crises that might lead us into some really big drawdown. Or I would say the Fed to cut rates. Okay, the first thing that we have as an issue, number one, is the job market. The job market's bad. Okay? That could lead us into a recession, which is why the Fed is going to cut rates and try to print money. But they're quietly printing money right now. They're not making it public. The second reason is Japan's bonds, okay? Bond and yield market, okay? They've been the lowest in history, and there's carry trades that a lot of institutions have that use the Japanese yen and then obviously bring them over into what? US bonds. You take the difference. That might lead us into a crisis. And then the third thing that can lead us into a crisis, okay? And this is big. Just as big. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to get a tissue here real quick. Feel a little sick, guys. Feel a little sick. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get a tissue. So the third crisis that can lead us into, I would say, an economic fall is if you start to see earnings reports, okay, or massive corrections with the top 7 stocks. And that's where you see Michael Burry talking about, hey, that bubble bursting with AI, which is specifically NVIDIA. Something going wrong there. The biggest bubble that exists right now is in the stock market. 2008 was housing. 2020, it wasn't really a bubble. 2001 was the stock market. So these are things that can obviously lead us into what? Into an economic fall, right? And I'm trying to bet on a fall, not so we could bet on like the big short, but just so temporarily we could have a pull down. So then we can look for a re-entry here on risk on assets. And then this thing will extend to the upside 10 to 15%. And if we get an extension of 10 to 15% on the S&P, we're going to get a 30 to 50% return on high risk assets. That's why I'm looking for this, guys. I don't want the market to fall. I expect the market to fall so that way we can get bigger returns. Make sense? Okay. So futures, NQ I think is actually going to be bullish today. Let's look at the volatility index. It's low. It's lower than normal. Which might make S&P go up. It is what it is. I'm going to wait till 10 a.m. to see how it reacts here. And then I'll go from there. Okay? Gold volatility probably still needs to pull back a little bit more, but then it's going to extend to the upside here. We still need to fill in this gap, which makes gold ridiculously bullish here. This looks like it's breaking structure. 10-year yield. Bonds are off the rails. We just had a mitigation here. Curious to see why. Yields are going to go up, which means bonds are going down. Less demand. Looking for a re-entry here on gold. Gold hit my zone here. Probably going to look for another re-entry here. Normally, what would I do here with gold? Normally with gold, I really wouldn't be buying this. I'd be mostly selling this in a normal scenario. But on a swing trading scenario, I don't want to trade against the trend. Based on what happened the other day on a banking, apparently a lot of brokers had a liquidity crisis here. I'm gonna wait till 10 a.m. But at some point here, I want to look for potential buys of gold. Why? Gold just had that break of structure here on internal. You see that? So you see order flow taking place. Then you have the break of structure of the order flow, or it traced into that indecision to extend to the upside here. You see that, guys? So on the 30-minute, I'm going to try to trade that indecision here on that pullback. Tight stop. Nothing crazy. I want to wait for 10 a.m. for a full extension here to see what happens. Because this thing could also mitigate here. See that right there? Internal sells. But truthfully, internal structure, this thing is selling off. I just want to see how the reaction is here. This is what's like my most important. Like, I need to see the reaction here. And I don't like trading this because we're trading against the range. Normally I trade with the range always, which means, hey, if the Asian range is a breakout to the Asian range, this isn't following my rules, guys. You see what I'm saying? If it's breaking out to the Asian range, it's usually bearish. What am I always looking for? I'm looking for structure. I'm looking for the institutional candle, right? And then I'm looking for the Asian range. And then I'm looking at what? Time. And then news, right? So right now, I don't like this just because, again, I normally trade the Asian range here. And usually if it breaks out below here, it is what it is. But I want to see the reaction here to the upside. Trading in between this here would be interesting. See that precision? My belief is that, yeah, we broke the range here, but the structure overrides the range. That's my belief. That's what I'm calling with gold. Let's look at USD CAD here. I'm genuinely curious. Let's mark up CAD again. The one thing about CAD that I hate, it has so many liquidity sweeps here. It's ridiculous. This has been one complex pullback for CAD. But this is external buying zones. Sometimes I don't like Forex pairs all the time because they tend to bullshit a lot. I'm sorry for my swearing here. It's just... what I mean by that is, like, look at this. You see the waves down. Reaccumulation. Potential impulses or 5 waves. This wave 1 had the internal breakup structure. Already breaking the decisional area. Now Dixie here is bullish, but we need to look at CAD news. Right? If this breaks the decisional, the next buying zone would be here internally. But it looks like it's already breaking that indecisional candle. You see that? Internal buys. So I don't really want to... I don't feel confident taking this at all. You know, if we have some type of mitigation here, great. But I don't want to catch a falling knife here. So until I get a solid break, and then I see an extension here potentially to the upside, like a mitigation here, and then a run, then I'd feel very confident. Or even something here. A mitigation, I start to see something turn around, then I'd be confident with like potentially taking this as a buy. Right now I don't feel confident. Yeah, it's made its 3 wave. And Dixie's on the upside. But what kind of CAD news do we have coming out here? I think CAD this week is actually a lot more bullish than bearish. I don't know if they're... let's look at the CAD news this week. Labor productivity, IVPMI, CAD employment change. CAD employment is really bad. Unemployment rate is at 7%. I'll give you guys an idea of how bad 7% unemployment is. When the 2008 housing crash happened, which was one of the worst financial crises in the entire US, okay, the unemployment rate in America hit 7%, and it caused panic. That's how bad 7% unemployment was for the US. So you could imagine what that's doing now to Canada. And they're probably printing money as we speak. Or they're on path of getting ready to print money here. So obviously, I'm looking for buys on USD CAD. I just want to be 100% certain before I call the buys too early here or here, and I don't want to catch a falling knife here if US dollar does fall. So I need a confirmation from here in this zone. I haven't been shown anything yet, so I'm not buying yet. GU, same thing. I don't really want to focus on it. I was trying to sell it earlier, like up here, and it's just been kind of hanging out here. I don't like the trend, to be honest. I really don't, and I haven't been looking at the upside and downside. This is interesting. We just had a bunch of injection here. Could this be the bottom? We don't know. It's a possibility. But it's still, honestly, shorting. Right now, it's still correcting. Bitcoin's still correcting.
Told what the matrix is.
Huh.
You have to see it for yourself.
Kind of boring. You're going to start to see a lot of consolidation here. This is a complex pullback now. Like, you know, we're going to probably see a lot of consolidation and then a potential drop. But really, what dictates price of Bitcoin is SPX. If we see SPX start to move to the upside or downside, MSRT needs to fill in this gap here. Okay, so really what the key is here is to figure out what SPX is doing. If SPX here is moving to the downside, all risk on assets are going to fall, right? And you're seeing, right, SPX do what, you know, we talked about here, right? And the real thing is about to start hitting at 10 a.m. So SPX drops is what I'm looking for. As it mitigates this and continues on its roll downward. So SPX sells. I'm in gold buys right now, but I'm just kind of cautious here because, again, I don't like this mitigation, and we're going against one of my 5 rules. We don't have all 5 alignments, so I'm not as confident as I usually am. And then I'm in gold buys, but I'm just waiting till 10 a.m. really hits. USD CAD, I'm looking for USD CAD to drop here or drop to this zone here. So it's mostly a sell today, but I'm waiting for the long-term buys. Okay, so sometimes I won't take the trade. I know USD CAD's a sell today. Like, I know it's going to come here, it's going to come here. It's also breaking out of the Asian range as well, kind of doing liquidity sweeps on both sides. So I'm not concerned, but I'm really looking to trade with the trend on the swing. That's why I'm looking for buys here, guys. I'm looking for the swing buy, which is either going to come here or it's going to come here. If it doesn't come, USD CAD's going to sweep the liquidity here. But I'm looking for the swing. I don't really care about the sell. I mean, I do. I could catch some pips here, but I want to catch the whole wave to the upside. That's what I'm looking for here. So I'm looking to see if I could see a reaction here or here, because I'm looking for long-term buys with Dixie moving to the upside and USD CAD still as a currency struggling, especially with a really, really bad unemployment rate. Now with Bitcoin, I wanted to see Bitcoin actually go to 94, 95 before we saw a bigger drop. If anything, I'd probably would continue to start looking for sells here. This mitigation area is a pretty safe zone at 91 with a very tight stop and 89. And then seeing this to create a lower low. I want to see a lower low get created. If not, we're going to see my 95 to 96 6K target, and then the fall is going to happen, and this is just going to be a big complex pullback. Okay, with MSRT is kind of done. I kind of explained it on yesterday's session. It is going to come up, mitigate that, and then probably fall. That's what I expect. Nvidia, let's see Nvidia right now. Nvidia actually looks like it's mitigating to the upside, which is great for Nvidia. Good for stocks. And those are some of my trades for today, guys. So we look at SPX, we have gold, we have USD CAD. Let me look at GU, and then we also have Bitcoin here, right? So GU I'm not really focused on, but USD CAD looks pretty decent for a potential long-term buy that I'm looking for. And then obviously, I'm not even taking USD JPY, but it looks like it's actually about to start moving to the upside. Cool. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And I will talk to y'all soon here. See y'all on the next session. Tight stops. 10 a.m. is about to start hitting, so the real move is about to start being made here. Just be precautious.